Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video, I will be doing a full batch breakdown for the upcoming Mugiwara 56 batch with of course the special Straw Hat units. We will take a look into the Mugiwara 56 lore, check out some fun facts about the units in One Piece Treasure Cruise, and of course break down what they exactly do and how good they really are. First, let's dive into some lore. Where do these units come from and when were they introduced? First of all, they are not a unique One Piece Treasure Cruise idea. These characters and artwork ideas were introduced in 2017 in a color spread named Mugiwara 56. As you can see, all of the Straw Hats at the time are represented and they are paying homage to the Germa 66 characters: Judge, Reiju, Ichiji, Niji and Yonji. Each of the Straw Hats is wearing a raid suit exactly like the Germa 66 characters, and all of the raid suits are a different color to represent each Straw Hat the best. So for example, Luffy has a bright red color because he is a very fiery and energetic character, while Chopper wears pink because of the cherry blossoms, most likely, and Sanji wears blue because his most wanted destination to reach is the All Blue. All of the Straw Hats in this color spread are also represented by a number. That number shows us the exact spot they were introduced during the story. So Luffy was of course number 1, Zoro was number 2, Nami has number 3, Usopp number 4, Sanji number 5, and for the characters after East Blue we have Chopper number 6, Robin number 7, Franky with number 8 on his shoulder, and finally Brook with number 9. We can spot many more similarities to the Germa 66 characters, like for example, Luffy is red and also number 1, and that of course is a resemblance to Ichiji, who is also red and number 1. That is why Luffy's raid suit is exactly the same as Ichiji's. Then we have Nami and Robin, of course, having many similarities with Reiju because they all wear the female raid suit. Nami also has her number 3, tattooed on her thighs, and Robin is also holding Judge's spear. Zoro and Usopp's suits are resembling Yonji. Zoro is the green character of the group, and Usopp is number 4, both character traits of Yonji. And Usopp is also wearing Judge's helmet. Finally, the rest of the Straw Hats in Sanji, Chopper, Brook and Franky are all wearing suits that have the same style as the one that Judge and also Niji are wearing. Finally, the reason they are called Mugiwara 56 and not another number is because in Japanese 56, when pronounced, can sound like Gomu, which of course means rubber, and generally Oda uses that pun in a lot of different One Piece sketches or moments throughout the series. And since here we have Germa 66, Mugiwara 56 also sounds very similar. Because I really love the design of these units, I dug around more in the One Piece Treasure Cruise side of things now, to find more fun facts about the Mugiwara 56 units. First and foremost, they are being released along with the super evolution of a super type unit that of course is Germa 66. All of the units have the exact same typing as Germa does, so all of them are Sai, and they are also sharing a class, Free Spirit. Some units also have identical classes, and those are Free Spirit and Fighter, and the units that are sharing them are Sanji, Luffy and Chopper. The only two units that are Slasher inside the Straw Hats are Zoro and Brook, and these two units are the free-to-play units of the month, because Zoro is the Treasure Map free-to-play unit and Brook is the Kizuna free-to-play unit. All of the units except Sanji, because he is a legend, have the same color limit break ability shield as their suit. So Zoro, for example, has resistance to dex attacks, so he has a green shield. And if the color is not in One Piece Treasure Cruise like pink for example, Then we go to the next similar one, which is red, therefore strength resistance for Chopper. Lastly, we can see similarities to their sailor abilities, because majority of the Mugiwara 56 units make some type of slot beneficial to the whole crew, but then also all of them, without exceptions, share a sailor ability. That says that when any other free spirit character uses a special, then the unit reduces own cooldown by 1 turn, which is of course another reason why all of them are free spirit. All of these facts are great and hopefully you enjoyed them as much as I did while discovering them, but now let's talk about the badges themselves. First of all, we have the treasure map badge that will contain Sanji, the first ever treasure map legend to be introduced in One Piece Treasure Cruise Mugiwara 56 Sanji, and then he will be accompanied by treasure map rare recruits Luffy, Nami and Chopper. Zoro is the treasure map free-to-play unit of the month, so everyone can very easily get their hands on him. Many people inside the OPTC community have actually complained because Sanji is the legend and he gets yet another legend in the game, but in my opinion that makes absolute sense in this case, simply because he is the only Straw Hat that has an immediate relationship with the German characters, so he should be the legend out of the batch. Of course, since he is a treasure map legend, that means he is only pullable during treasure map Sugofests. Now let's take a look at what he does. He is a Sai super type treasure map legend and has the fighter and also the free spirit class. He will introduce a new limit break ability that will be reducing slot barrier, and he will also have pinch healing and slot bind reduction. For his captain ability, Sanji will reduce the cooldown of Sai, fighter and free spirit specials by 2 turns at the start of the fight. He will boost attack of Sai, fighter and free spirit characters by 5 times, their HP by 1.3, and at the start of the fight, this character will activate his own special. An amazing captain ability, not only because of the cooldown reduction or even the special activation, but mainly because Sai and Free Spirit are 2 of the best types and classes respectively in the whole game. For his special ability, Sanji boosts chances of getting matching orbs for 4 turns, recovers 8 times character's RCV in HP at the end of each turn for 4 turns, and then amplifies the effect of orbs for Sai, fighter and Free Spirit characters by 2 for 4 turns as well. Finally, if your crew has orb amplification already, then he boosts attack of Sai, fighter and free spirit characters by 2 times for 4 turns. That special is simply amazing. Giving boosts for 4 turns is very good. Even for 3 turns it's actually very good if the boss or mini boss do not clear your buffs. The reason for that is of course you can use these buffs in 2 different stages or even 3 different stages if you have a unit that can extend an orb boost or an attack boost. For his support, Sanji can be attached to Sai characters, and at level 5 he does the following. Once per an adventure, when the supported character uses a damage dealing or health cutting special, he amplifies the effect of orbs for Sai characters by 1.75 times for 1 turn, which for support is a very high multiplier and a very good effect. But the requirement is not something that will make Sanji super easy to use, but in my opinion, in the correct scenario, he will be extremely useful. Just to mention, his sailor abilities are also very strong. He makes all type slots matching for himself, and he also has the universal Mugiwara 56 sailor ability that reduces his own cooldown when another free spirit character uses a special. Now for his super type. His requirement needs him to be captain, and as subs you need to have one other member of the Straw Hats. Pretty simple and pretty easy to actually fulfill. Then for his special, he increases boost effects of attack up and orb amplification buffs by plus 0.3 times, and transforms all characters into Super Type Psy, of course. At first glance, that Super Type special doesn't look that exciting, doesn't look that good compared to others in the game that provide orb manipulation or immediately an attack boost, an orb boost, or even a color affinity boost. But to be completely honest, it's not a bad Super Type special. It's not the best in the game, in my opinion, but that plus 0.3 times to your boost will give you many more millions of damage. That can actually be the difference that will allow you to get that extra damage in order to clear the quest, especially if you are using a Super Type team. Overall, I would say that he is very good. For the first treasure map legend ever, they had to make something that will actually sell the Sugofest, even though the Sugofest will most likely not be that amazing, at least for the majority of players. Personally, as a big Sanji fan and also a fan of Germa, when this unit was announced in Japan, I was super excited, and I have to say, after reading everything he does, I am not disappointed. A quick disclaimer before I continue with the units: from now onwards I won't be talking about their captain abilities, simply because the following units will never be used as a captain outside of this month's treasure map and Kizuna events, so might as well save some time because I know this video will be pretty long. Still, the captain ability will be in the graphic, so you can still check it out. Time for the first treasure map rare recruit, Luffy. He will be Psy, Fighter and Free Spirit with 2 limit break abilities: Strength, Damage Reduction and Pinch Healing. For his special ability, Luffy reduces enemies' resilience duration by 5 turns. He also reduces Bind and Despair duration by 5 turns and locks the chain multiplier at 2.75 times for 1 turn. But if your crew already has a chain lock, then he increases that chain lock by 0.2 times, which is actually pretty awesome. I had never thought about an ability like that, but it can be actually very useful, especially if you have a very high chain lock in your team, like the Shanks crews, and then you are just using Luffy just as a utility unit. And his utility for a Luffy is very good, because with supports that he has available to him, he can remove even more of specific debuffs. With Halloween Ace support, he can remove 8 turns of bind, and that will become 11 if you have maximum bind sockets. For his support, he can be attached to Sanji and Zoro, and at level 5 it reads: once per an adventure, when the supported character uses an orb amplification special, locks the chain multiplier at 2.75 times for 1 turn. For a support that is a very high chain lock, he pretty much provides the same chain lock with his support as he does with his special. Very good support for characters that actually have very strong orb boosting units like V3 Zoro and the new treasure map Sanji, or even Sanji Judge, and many more. For his sailor abilities, he has the universal Mugiwara 56 one, and he also makes strength orbs beneficial for all characters, which is always very awesome to see. Overall, I would say that this Luffy is a very good sub unit and very good at utility, simply because of all the supports he has available to him and all of the super type requirements he can fulfill. I think this Luffy is a good unit, and that pretty much will go for a lot of utility Luffys that will come out in the future. Treasure map rare recruit Nami comes next, and she is a Psy, Striker and Free Spirit unit with 2 limit break abilities, side damage reduction and also pinch healing. For her special ability, she locks the chain multiplier at 2.75 times for 4 turns, she delays all enemies for 1 turn, reduces the special cooldown of 1 character for 2 turns, and reduces silence by 3 turns. Unfortunately, I do have some issues with her special, and she has some problems in general. Out of the 4 things she does, only one of them is really good in my opinion, and that is the chain lock, because you can carry it through multiple stages, and even though it's not that high, you can use it in other stages except the final boss stage. The delay, simply because of all the immunity going around, it's not going to be that useful. The special reduction, while decent because it gives one character 2 turns of cooldown reduction, I don't think it will be that impactful. First of all, she cannot resist special rewind, which is one red flag, and second of all, I think this part of the special is meant to actually work with a full Mugiwara 56 Bats team. I am saying that because if you use her special, everyone, because of their universal sailor ability, will get 1 turn of a special cooldown reduction, and with Nami you can give extra 2 turns to one unit you choose. That can be decent, but outside of that situation, I do not think the special cooldown reduction will be incredibly useful, so that is the second red flag. And the third and biggest one of them all, in my opinion, she only reduces silence by 3 turns and not 5. I don't think 3 turns is good enough, especially because with her limit break sailor ability, she only resists it by 3 as well. In my team building experience, in so many situations I have tried to use a special bind reducer, and the most annoying possible thing that can happen is for the sailor ability to not resist it enough so you can reduce all of the turns or at least some of them. For 3 turns of resistance, you won't be finding her useful in many situations or harder content like arenas, for example. Moving on to her support though, she can support Robin and Chopper, and at level 5 it reads: once per an adventure, when an enemy inflicts you with silence or special rewind, reduces silence duration by 2 turns and reduces special cooldown of supported character by 2 turns. Now that is good, but in my opinion, if you took those 2 turns of silence from her support and added them to her special ability, changing the support to only special cooldown reduction, she would be 11 times better. And of course also to her limit break ability, so we had 5 there and 5 in the special. Overall, I would definitely say this Nami is underwhelming. She is a unit that can help you earlier on with your damage in the quest, for example in Arena through stages 3 and 4 with her chainlock, but won't be that useful for any of the other things she does. Treasure Map RR Recruit Chopper is the final Mugiwara 56 unit of this Treasure Map batch. He is a Sai, Fighter and Free Spirit unit with strength, damage reduction and pinch healing limit break abilities. For his special, he reduces paralysis and burn duration by 5 turns, changes adjacent and block slots into RCV, and boosts the color affinity of Sai characters by 1.75 times for 4 turns. Decent special, paralysis for 5 turns, very good, the burn is an added bonus. Adjacent and also block slots into RCV is also pretty nice, very similar special to Karina's special, the Sai Rare Recruit. And then color affinity for 4 turns is also very good for obvious reasons, because you can carry it through multiple stages, as we have already said. As a support, he can be attached to Luffy and Usopp units, and at level 5 the support reads: once per an adventure, when an enemy inflicts you with burn, reduces burn duration by 2 turns. This is not incredible, but it's nice to see in a chopper unit that can be attached to Luffy, especially in my opinion, simply because not a lot of support units remove burn. Two that come to mind are Rare Recruit Dex Kinemon and also Rare Recruit Sai Crocus, but these two cannot be attached to Straw Hat units, so Chopper is a good addition to the game even though his support is not incredible. For his normal Sailor he has the universal Mugiwara 56 one, but for his limit break Sailor ability he makes RCV orbs beneficial for all characters, which ties very nicely with his special that gives you adjacent RCV slots. Overall, I would say this Chopper is a decent unit, especially if we take into consideration that the Chopper units we have in the game, at least the majority of them, are not that useful. The last unit for the whole Treasure Map side of things is free-to-play Treasure Map Zoro. He is Sai Slasher Free Spirit and has 3 limit break abilities, one of which you can unlock with the Treasure Map key. He has Dex damage reduction, critical hit, and Sailor Despair reduction. Since everyone will acquire this unit if you play the upcoming treasure map, let's focus on his special ability to see if it is good or not. Everything else I would say either we talked about or is pretty generic for a treasure map unit. So for his special, he reduces enemies' threshold by 6 turns, amplifies orbs of Psy and Free Spirit characters by 2.25 times for 1 turn, and boosts attack of Psy and Free Spirit characters by 1.5 times for 1 turn. If your crew has attack up, amplifies the effect of orbs of Psy and Free Spirit characters by 2.25 times for 2 turns. And if your crew has attack up and orb amplification, increases duration of any orb amplification buffs by 2 turns. I would say that for a free-to-play unit, this Zoro is very good. Threshold removal for 6 turns is awesome, and then he gives you an orb boost by 2.25 times for 1 or 2 turns depending on if you have an attack boost, which also means that you can equip him with the treasure map RR Recruit Luffy we saw a bit ago. If you do not have an attack boost already, he will also give Psy and Free Spirit characters a small attack boost, which is very nice, can never be a bad thing to have a bit of an attack boost. And lastly, he can even increase the duration of an attack and an orb boost for 2 turns if you already have them when activating his special, which in the whole Mugiwara 56 batch is very nice since you can get buffs for 4 turns. The final thing I want to mention about this Zoro is that he is a Free Spirit Zoro unit. We do not have a lot of those in the game, so it is very nice to see him get one because Free Spirit is one of the best classes in the game for sure. Time to now move on to the Mugiwara 56 Kizuna batch. Here we do not have a Kizuna legend, we only have Kizuna rare recruits and the free-to-play Kizuna unit of the month. The rare recruits are Robin, Usopp and Franky, and the free-to-play unit is Brook. This part of the batch will come out after the treasure map is concluded, so the treasure map Sugofest will come first in 3 different parts most likely, and after the treasure map event we will get the Kizuna Sugofest and of course the Kizuna event. I just wanted to include all of the batch in this video to talk about the lore as well. Kizuna rare recruit Robin is a Psy character of course, and she is also cerebral and free spirit. She has 2 limit break abilities, one of which is int damage reduction and the other one pinch healing. For her special ability, Robin reduces enemies percent damage reduction and threshold by 4 turns, and she also reduces any damage received above 5000 HP for 1 turn, which means that she gives you a threshold. Then she also boosts attack against enemies with reduced defense by 1.75 times for 4 turns, and if during that turn you score 3 perfects, she reduces the defense of all enemies by 80% for 1 turn in the following turn. Her special is definitely good, she actually reminds me of Colosseum Morley and Treasure Map Reiju, but I think that both of these units I mentioned probably have a better special. It always will depend on the situation of course and the quest at hand, but the thing with Robin is that she removes 4 turns of threshold and damage reduction, not 5, but 4 is still respectable and usable. Then giving you threshold is awesome, and she gives you a conditional attack boost for 4 turns against defense down enemies. That is very good, the only unit in the game that does this. Another unit that comes to mind for conditional attack boost but for 3 turns is the new Versus Shanks legend, because with his Versus ability he gives you 3 turns of a conditional attack boost against defense down enemies. That is still 1 turn less than Robin. For the last part of her special, it's very nice to hit some perfects, and then if the enemy does not have immunity you can get a conditional attack boost working, but unfortunately she only reduces the enemy's defense by 80% and not 100. For her support ability, she can be attached to Nami and Franky, and at level 5 it reads: once per an adventure, when the supported character uses their special, boosts attack against enemies with reduced defense by 1.3 times for one turn. So we get a conditional attack boost from her support as well, and the fact that she can be attached to a Nami unit is definitely very good. And for her sailor abilities, she has the universal Mugiwara 56 one, and the limit break one makes TNT orbs beneficial for all characters. Good limit break abilities, nothing wrong here. Overall, I would say that Robin is a good unit, but I think she has flaws and her special is definitely not optimal. Does that make her not usable? Absolutely not. At the end of the day, she is cerebral, free spirit, with a very decent special and also limit break abilities, so I think you can definitely use her in teams. To give you an example, she can be very helpful in the current arena versus Mihawk in stages 3 and 4. Kizuna rare recruit Usopp is up next. He is Psy, Shooter and Free Spirit with 2 limit break abilities, side damage reduction and also pinch healing. For his special ability, he reduces attack down and chain coefficient reduction by 5 turns, but also reduces enemies' resilience by 5 turns and makes all block slots into matching. If your crew has a chain boost, he increases it by giving extra 0.2 times addition, but if you do not have a chain boost already, he will add 1.0 times to the chain multiplier for one turn otherwise. His special is good. In my book, if you remove attack down for 5 turns or more, because it is a very common debuff, and you also make block slots matching, you are most likely a good unit. You are definitely usable depending on the team composition. Usopp here does even more stuff. The chain coefficient reduction removal is not the most useful thing, but he also removes resilience, which is not that common, but can definitely appear in quests. Now, like Treasure Map Rare Recruit Luffy, he will either give you a boost for your chain or increase your already existing one, which is something very unique and makes for a decent special. Now for his support, he can support Franky and Chopper units, and once per an adventure at level 5, when an enemy inflicts you with a chain coefficient reduction, he reduces it by 2 turns and he adds 0.3 times to your chain multiplier for 1 turn, so he gives you a chain boost. A similar support to the one that Legend Cracker has, but Crackers is way better and also has better numbers, but of course Usopp can be attached to Franky and Chopper, Cracker cannot. For his sailor abilities, of course, he has the classic Mugiwara 56 one, and then he also makes Psy Orbs beneficial for all characters, which is very nice. Overall, I would say this Usopp is a good unit, nothing incredible though, and just like Robin, he doesn't amaze me and absolutely make me want to pull in the upcoming Kizuna Sugofest. Kizuna rare recruit Franky is Psy, Powerhouse and Free Spirit with 2 limit break abilities, Q damage reduction and also pinch healing. For his special ability, he reduces silence by 4 turns, adds 1 to the chain multiplier for 4 turns, reduces the defense of all enemies by 100% for 2 turns, changes badly matching G, empty and bomb slots into matching, and he locks them for 1 turn. This special is very interesting. First things first, we need to check the sailor abilities. The first one is the classic one for the Mugiwara 56 units, but the second one, he resists silence by 5 turns. Thank you, that is exactly what should have happened with Nami, even if she still reduced it by 3. Now Franky resists 5, but he still removes 4, not 5. Not the optimal situation, but he is very usable because he does more things as well. The chain boost for 4 turns is awesome, he reduces defenses by 100%, that means he can be combined with Kizuna Rare Recruit Robin, a very good combination, and he also changes badly G, empty and bomb slots into matching while also locking them. So from the Kizuna Rare Recruit side of things, of these bots, I would say that he's the best one so far. With his support, he can be attached to Robin and Usopp, and at level 5 it reads: once per an adventure, when the supported character uses their special, reduces the defense of all enemies by 80% for 2 turns. Similar to 20th anniversary Franky, but that support is definitely decent and can also work very nicely with Robin, because when you use her special you do not reduce the enemy's defense immediately, you just get the conditional attack boost. If you have that Franky support, then you can also reduce the defense of your enemies this turn and also the next turn if you hit the perfects required. So this Franky makes Robin better. Overall, because we pretty much covered everything for him, I want to say that I am very happy that Franky does not get overlooked in this batch and gets a good unit. Finally, we have the Kizuna free-to-play unit Brook. He is a Psy Slasher and Free Spirit, and he has 2 limit break abilities, Int damage reduction and Slot bind reduction as well. For his special ability, he reduces the enemy's percent damage reduction by 6 turns, amplifies the effect of orbs of Psy and Free Spirit characters by 1.5 times for 1 turn, and boosts attack of Psy and Free Spirit characters by 2.25 times for 1 turn. If your crew has an orb amplification, boosts attack of Psy and Free Spirit by 2.25 for 2 turns, and if your crew has attack up and an orb boost, increases duration by any boosting buffs by 2 turns. So he is pretty much exactly like Treasure Map free-to-play Zoro, but instead of threshold he removes damage reduction, and the orb and attack boosts are reversed. That means we can immediately say that he is a very good free-to-play unit and he works very well with Treasure Map Zoro. His limit break sailor ability is making int orbs beneficial for all characters, which is very good, and his support is a very generic one for free-to-play Kizuna units. And that concludes my full batch breakdown of the Mugiwara 56 units and their lore. Hopefully you enjoyed this longer video. If you did, I would really appreciate a like, and also subscribe to the channel for more OPTC content. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.